Hello. So let's come to sit on your shins. If you can't sit on the shins without creating discomfort in the knees or ankles, you're welcome to sit in a regular cross-leg position. Let's rest the hands onto the thighs in front of you and sitting up nice and tall. Taking a deep breath in and exhale to gently close your eyes. Let's connect the mind, the body, and the breath. Noticing how you're feeling today. Your energy levels, mood, any physical sensations that are standing out. Setting an intention for this morning's practice. And we'll take 3 rounds of Kapalabhati breath today. Let's start by taking a lovely deep inhale breath through the nose. Deep exhale all the way out. Taking a half breath in and begin. Exhale, chin to chest. And lightly hold here. Inhale to lift the face. Deep exhale out. Half inhale in and begin. Exhale, chin to chest, and hold. Inhale to lift. Last round, deep exhale out. Half breath in. And begin. Exhale out, chin to chest, and hold. Inhale to lift. And just take a moment to connect into the effects of your pranayama. Noticing any temperature changes, any tingling or vibration. Any subtle changes to your mood, your energy. Slowly opening your eyes, and you're going to gently make your way into a downward facing dog. So if the legs are feeling a bit tender after sitting in your hero pose, You're going to take your time to straighten. Allow the blood to work down the feet slowly and gently. You can heel toe up and down. Shake your head yes. Shake your head no. And then lifting up onto the toes of both legs, bend your knees, slide your hips up and back. Work your rib cage closer and closer to your thighs. And then without letting the shoulders roll forward, start to straighten the heels to the earth. Let's do that one more time, coming up right onto the tips of the toes. Bend your knees, slide the hips up and back, deepening the stretch across the back of the body. And again, push the shoulders away from the fingers as you sink your heels to the earth. Looking between the hands, let's take little steps to the front of the mat. Moving slowly with the legs as straight as you can manage. Come up to a flat back at the front, undulating the spine, reaching the head forward. Separate your sitting bones and slide your tailbone back. Let's exhale to release into a forward fold. And now bend your knees deeply and very slowly roll yourself up. Remember to feel as though you're lifting from the shoulders. There's a coat hanger across the shoulders, pulling the body up. Inhale, open up the chest, stand tall, and now bend the knees slightly. Keep the back flat and forward fold with a flat spine. Arms can just dangle in front of you. At the bottom, release, soften, and roll up. And we're going to repeat this movement a few times. So as you come up, you straighten the body, bend the knees, and come down with a straight spine. Let's do this one more time. Rounding the back to lift. Press firmly into the feet, engage the quads, and then bent knees, straight spine. All the way back down to the mat. Hold on to opposite elbows here, just dangle for a moment. If you'd like to swing or bounce or shake, feel free to do whatever feels good in the moment. If you'd like to hold still and just drip the body straight down, you can do that. Let's release the hands to the floor, stepping the right leg back and then followed by the left leg. We're going to curl the knees down to come into tabletop, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders and spreading the fingers wide. Flowing now through cat-cow pose. Coming back to neutral, tucking toes and sliding the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let's shake the head yes. Keeping the gaze under the arms, shake the head, no. On the inhale breath, floating right leg to the sky and roll the ankle a few times in one direction. Rolling a few times in the opposite direction. Stretch those toes up to the sky as high as you can. And then bending into the knee, bringing the heel towards the glute. Inhale to extend the leg and then drawing the foot between the hands into a lunge. Float up onto your fingertips, reaching head forward, tailbone back. And then inhale, bring the hands onto the front thigh to lift a little bit higher. Float hands up to the sky. And then bringing the hands behind the back, interlocking fingers, opening up the chest. Let's release the hands back up to the sky and then bringing them down to the mat. Stepping yourself back into downward facing dog. Shake your head yes and no, staying underneath the arms as you turn from side to side. On your inhale, floating your left leg to the sky and working into an ankle roll. Let's change the direction of the roll. And then lifting the foot even higher. Let's bend into that knee, bringing the heel to the glute. Straightening out the leg and exhale to step the foot into lunge. Coming onto fingertips. Make sure that back leg is active. Slide the hands to the front thigh, lifting the torso. And then straightening the spine up even more by floating the hands to the sky. Let's bring the hands behind the back, interlocking fingers and rolling the chest open. Taking the hands back up and then exhaling hands to the floor. Stepping back, downward facing dog. Breathe into your down dog. Inhale up to the tips of the toes. Bend your knees, sliding your chest back towards the thighs. And now you're going to curl your tailbone in, slowly lowering the knees to the floor. Move slowly here to engage the core muscles. As you drop the knees down, you can slide your shoulders forward and lower the head to the earth in puppy pose. Breathing into the space. Press firmly into your left hand and use that to help slide the right arm under the chest. Gazing at your right fingertips. Remember to turn the chest open to the sky. We'll take it to the other side by bringing the right arm forward And then sliding the left hand under the chest. Gazing to the left hand. Twist the right shoulder open to the sky, but keep the hips square. Let's release hands back down to the floor. And then walk your hands back to bring your hips to the heels in child's pose. Relax the spine, let it softly round. And then making your way into downward facing dog. On your inhale breath, take the right leg to the sky. And step the foot forward into lunge. Float onto the fingertips, engaging into the core. Let's inhale, bring the hands to the front thigh, lifting up. And then inhaling the hands overhead, lifting the spine even more. Draw the hands behind your back, interlocking fingers as you roll the shoulder blades together. Keep the hands interlocked as you now start to lean forward, coming into Superman variation. You want a straight line from heel to head. Start to tip the weight onto the front foot and lightly step the back foot in a little bit, and keep doing so until you can float your back foot off the floor into a warrior 3 variation. Try and get your chest and the back of your leg the same height. Square the hips to point the toes at the floor. You're going to land into a warrior 2. So you release the hands, lightly float the back foot down as you pendulum open the arms, warrior 2. Inhale into a reclining warrior. Softening the front knee a little bit deeper and reaching your front knee and back fingers away from one another. Let's inhale forward into Parsva, bringing elbow to thigh and top arm over the ear. Draw the top hand to the sky, turn the palm to face behind you, and then bring your hand either to touch the lower back, the waist, or holding to the inner thigh. You can bring your bottom hand to hold onto the ankle or come down to the mat. Remembering that your arm now presses against your inner thigh presses against your arm, and that tension is really going to work into your adductors. Sink your hips a little bit lower and bend the front knee over the ankle. Let's release the top hand back to the sky and then sweeping warrior 2. Inhale. Straighten your front leg. One heel, one toe of the back foot, and extending forward for triangle. And again, your hand comes to just below the knee, further down the shin, or even to the ankle. As long as you can twist your chest open. If your top shoulder starts to move inwardly, you know you've now lost the alignment of the pose. Let's release both hands to the floor, bringing them either side of that front foot. Rotate your hip as you step the back foot slightly in, squaring the feet, squaring the hips. Reach your head forward, reach your tailbone back, and draw the left hip slightly in. Gently forward folding into your Parsvottanasana. Let's lift halfway up. Walk your hands a bit further forward and just stretch into the torso as you slide your hips in the opposite direction. Keep walking those hands, resisting with the hip, until the back body has to follow suit, floating the leg to the sky. So we're coming into the standing split this time by reaching the toes to the sky and reaching your head to the earth. Your hands might be on fingertips. You might plant the hands flat to the mat. Do whichever feels better for you. If you feel comfortable with the balance, maybe you want to bring your right hand behind your calf and help to pull your chest a bit closer to your shin. If you feel very comfortable with your balance, you might even want to bring the left hand behind the ankle as well. We're going to land here into a low lunge. So you release the fingers and you drop the back foot way back behind you. Coming back onto the fingertips. Let's step now into a plank pose. Holding the plank for a moment. Gently round the space between the shoulders. And make your body as light as you possibly can. You can choose knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. We're going to lower to the mat, so coming all the way down. Opening the fingers to the sides or the elbows out. Push the pubic bone into the floor as you reach your toes back. Inhale, lifting into wide cobra. Open the upper body and lengthen the lower. Let's release back down to the floor. Hands under shoulders and make your way into child's pose. Yogi's choice for arm alignment. Taking 5 slow breaths here. And when you are ready, making your way into downward facing dog. Let's float the left leg to the sky. And stepping the foot forward into lunge. Float onto your fingertips. Remember not to lift the hips too high here. You want a straight line from heel to head. Bring the hands onto the front thigh, lifting up a little bit taller. Floating into that back heel. And then taking the hands all the way up to the sky into your high lunge. Stretch into the toe joint by really lifting the back heel. Bring the hands behind the back. Interlock fingers, rolling the shoulder blades tightly together. Keeping the clasp in the hands as you come forward for Superman variation. Find the tensegrity between head and heel. Lifting now into our warrior 3 prep by floating the back leg off and lifting it to match the back of the body. Square your hips. Turn your toes to the floor. Making your way to Warrior 2 with poise and grace and control. Check your alignment. We don't always land perfectly. Make sure your front heel lines up with the arch of the back foot. Coming into reclining warrior. Let's sweep it forward into Pasva. Elbow to thigh, top arm over the ear. Shifting the top arm to lift, turn the palm back, and then coming into the half bind, either the back of the hand just touching the lower back, wrapping into the waist, or even to the inner thigh. Let's bring the bottom hand to hold onto the ankle, or come down to the mat. Sink your hips lower by bending your knee 90 degrees. Floating the top hand back to the sky. Use your inhale, Warrior 2, and then straightening the front leg. One heel, one toe of that back foot. Let's extend forward and coming into Trikonasana. Imagine that the body is between two sheets of glass. You're going to twist the bottom rib cage open, lean the shoulders slightly back, and push the hips slightly forward. Releasing both hands to the floor. Bring the hands either side of the front foot. Step your back foot in a little bit and square your hips. Feet are hip distance parallel. Inhale and gently forward folding into Parsvatanasana. You get more out of this pose by squaring the hips off. Let's lift onto the fingertips. And I'll start to walk your fingers a bit further forward. Slide your hips away from the fingers. You can do this a few times, edging the fingers a bit further as you slide the hips a bit further back. So we're looking to stretch the side of the torso underneath the shoulder blades. From here, will take us now into our standing split by walking the hands a bit further, lifting the foot to the sky. Open the chest and then forward fold, reaching your toes all the way up as you work your chest towards your shin. Remember, you can stay on fingertips or you can flatten your hands to the mat. You can have both hands on the floor or bring one arm behind the calf. Perhaps you want to take two arms behind the calf. Release the hands if you've lifted them and make your way back into a low lunge, stepping the back foot all the way to the back of the mat. Come onto fingertips, float the chest, and then come back into your plank pose. Rounding your back. Engage the core, strong into the legs. We're going to come all the way down to the mat. So you can choose knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, all the way to the tummy. Bringing hands out to the side, lengthen the legs, and inhale, wide cobra. Release all the way back down and make your way into child's pose. Let's take a few breaths in child's pose, yogi's choice for alignment. Sliding your way into downward facing dog. From your down dog, float the right leg to the sky. Let's draw the knee into pigeon pose by bringing the right knee to the outer edge of the right wrist. Slide your back foot a little bit further back and open the chest into upright pigeon. Make sure that your lower back is square, coming down onto the elbows. Depending on the intensity of your hip, you can stay on the elbows, or if you feel like you can come a bit lower, you can lower to the forehead, to the hands, or to the mat. We're going to hold here for 5 slow breaths. Slowly walk your hands back up underneath the shoulders. Grip into your back toes as you straighten that back knee. We're going to float the front knee up to the forehead in our tiger curl. So draw the knee to the forehead and then lift the leg back up to the sky. Let's open the hip, bending your knee into standing scorpion. Your gaze is underneath your right arm. Stretch deeply into that hip, opening into the psoas muscle. Let's inhale to straighten the back leg, and I'm going to step the foot forward into a lunge, coming to the inside of the right hand. Drop your back knee to the mat. Move your back toes a bit to the left side, so you're opening the toes wider. Straightening the front leg, moving through our Ardha Hanumanasana to sit down. So your left foot is now next to your hip. You may want to sit on a pillow or a block, especially if your hips are really tilting to one side. Lift up and you'll find that you're then able to square your hips off a bit better. You may want to move this knee slightly wider, see how it feels. You're going to open up nice and tall and then gently forward fold. So this is Triang Mukha Paschimottanasana. I find it quite challenging to get my body square in this position. Got to work really hard at drawing the rib cage in line, trying to get the hips in line and to not let those front toes open wide. Coming back to center, the bent knee, you're now going to turn to draw the knee to chest, crossing your straight leg in front into a cross leg position, just a normal cross leg seated position. From here, forward folding, bringing the elbows to the mat. Now everyone's hips and glutes are different. You may feel this is quite relaxing, no stress in this at all. You may find it's quite uncomfortable, stretching into the hip. You can always take it deeper if you need to by increasing the cross. So you draw the feet further out as though you're pulling the strings on a bow. See if you can just relax your body, releasing and surrendering. And then inhale to lift back up. You're now going to tuck your feet deeply underneath you so that you can roll forward, hands down. Either step yourself into a plank or press into the tops of the feet and hop back into plank. We'll move through a vinyasa of your choice. So whatever vinyasa you like to do, go for that. Taking the left leg to the sky. And let's draw the knee to the left outer wrist. So a little bit wider than the wrist to really open up into piriformis. Slide the back foot a bit further back, floating onto fingertips into upright pigeon. And then gradually making your way down to the reclining version of your choice. Let's walk up, bringing the hands firmly to the earth, tucking the back toe under. We're going to lift the front knee to the forehead in tiger curl, engage the core, and then lift the leg to the sky into three-legged dog. Let's step the foot forward to the inside of the left hand this time, into lunge, and dropping the back knee to the mat. Untuck the back toes, move your foot a little bit to the outer edge of the mat. Straightening into the front thigh as you now slide back into Triang Mukha Paschimottanasana. I like to roll my calf muscle out. I've got quite a thick calf muscle. Bringing it slightly wider gives my knee a bit more space. Make whatever adjustments you need to help square yourself off. Let's open tall and gently fold. Inhale to come back up to sit. Take the bent knee into the chest. You're going to cross the front leg in front of the bent leg into your regular cross leg position. You can pull the strings of the bow a bit tighter if that's appropriate for you, and then gently forward folding, elbows towards the earth. Slowly lifting yourself back up, and again tuck your feet underneath the body to make space to either walk, step or hop into plank pose. Moving through a vinyasa of your choice. And then let's walk, step or hop to sit on the mat. Bringing the legs out in front of you. Coming down to lie on your back. And drawing your knees into your chest. Just hold here for a moment, releasing the lower back, broadening the chest. And then bring the arms out to the side in a T shape. Keep the knees in towards the chest. You're going to exhale, drop your knees to one side. Turn the gaze in the opposite direction. Breathing in through your nose and sigh through the mouth. Let's return to the center and exhale to the other side. Breathing in through your nose and sigh through the mouth. Let's return to the center, hug the knees into the chest. And now wrap your right thigh around your left, hooking the toes behind the calf. Arms to a T shape, inhale. And exhale, drop to the left. Again, inhale through the nose. And sigh through the mouth. Return to the center, unwrap the legs and switching other side. Left over right, inhale and exhale to the right. Let's return to the center, unwrap the knees, hug your knees into your chest. and then preparing for Shavasana. Slowly start to deepen and lengthen your breath. Running your thumb over the tips of your fingers, moving your toes, ankles and wrists, coming into a full body stretch by reaching the arms overhead, drawing the legs together, yawning or sighing. Bending your knees and coming over to lie on the side of your body in a fetal position. We'll lift into a comfortable space, holding for 10 slow meditative breaths. Drawing hands together at your heart center. We'll close the class by chanting Om once and Shanti 3 times, taking a deep breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Raising your hands to your third eye. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Lowering your hands to your lips, to your heart, to your mat, bowing forward in recognition of your practice. Blinking, eyes open, inhaling to lift. Namaste.